Hello, this is Jim Barton with another of Glenside Library's ongoing series of technology quick tips. Today we're going to return to Excel and we're going to talk about formatting Excel tables. Now, if you haven't used the table object in Excel, it can really save you a lot of time and make your life easier. Okay, let's start with our data. We have a listing of 50 different businesses within a 2-mile radius of the 60139 Glendale Heights, Illinois area code, zip code, pardon me. And we have just basic information, the name, address, and what kind of business they are using the SIC code. Now, at the moment, this data is not sorted, and it's a little bit messy to understand. There are different ways to filter data in Excel, but the quickest, easiest way is to use a table. How do I do that? Well, I start by clicking somewhere within my data. It doesn't have to be, I don't have to select the entire data set, and we'll see why in a moment. On the Home tab, I can go right to the middle to Format as Table, and I can choose one of these pre-made styles. I can go to the Insert tab and click on Table here. We'll do the same thing. Or the quickest, easiest way is simply to do Control-T from your keyboard in Windows. So let me do that. Control-T. Notice we get the moving ants around our data set. It has selected all of our contiguous data as we wanted. And most importantly, there's a checkbox that says My Table has headers. My table does in fact have headers, so I want to make sure that remains checked or is checked, and I click OK. And I have a new table object. I get a new tab up at the top, Table Tools Design, and the default kind of blue and white here. And if I wanted one of those other styles, I could have chosen one, or I can still choose one, I should say, from up here. So what does the table do for me aside from looking kind of pretty? Well, a couple of things. The biggest one is if I do sort this data, I can no longer break the relationship between, say, the company name and the address, which I could do if I were not careful, if I were simply sorting the data in place. I can sort, I can filter. So let's look at sorting to start with. If we would just want to sort by company name, the easiest way now is to click this filter button. Now notice, up here in the Table Tools, right in the middle, we've got Table Style Options, and there's Filter button checked by default. If we uncheck, we can no longer use that drop-down button. There are some other options up here as well. If we don't like the banded, the different colored rows, we can turn that off. Usually it's helpful. You might want columns instead. The two of them together is a little funky, so generally go with just one. There's a total row, by the way. If I click on total, this is a simple count, although I can choose what I want to see. But this gives me a count, and I can turn that off and on as needed. Back to my sorting. With my filter button on, I'm going to click here and simply sort A to Z. And notice it's sorted not only by company names, but all of the related data. So it treats each of these as a record in a table. So now not only sort, but filter options as well. What if I only want to see the restaurants? Well, the quickest way to do that is to uncheck Select All from here and scroll down until I find Restaurants. And boom, all the restaurants that are in this particular snippet of data. If I want to see everything again, I can simply clear the filter. What if I just want to see Bloomingdale? Well, once again, uncheck Select All, Bloomingdale, OK. What if I want to see Bloomingdale and Carroll Stream? In that case, recheck Carroll Stream as well. And again, to clear that, I could either do Clear Filter or I could simply click Select All again. Either way works. Now notice in this particular snippet, almost all of the records are located on Army Trail Road. There's one that isn't, but I'm not worried about that right now. But how many are in the 200 block? Let's take a look. If I click on address, every single separate record is going to be checked already, so that's really hard. Now, they are in order. I could go through and uncheck and say, okay, I should have, okay. But that's a little cumbersome. So let's go to text filters. Now I'm going to choose begins with a 2 and click OK. Now it's not completely faultless here because I do have just, for example, I have Addison addresses mixed in with Glendale Heights, but I can go through in here and say, now let's just make sure we do Glendale Heights. And sure enough, that gets us those addresses that are in the 200 block from this particular snippet. There are many more. I'm only working with 50 pieces of data here. Once again, if I need to, I can clear that filter. I can clear this filter. I can resort my data if I want to by anything else. If I want to see my descriptions in order, I can do a complex sort so that if I do sort by color, now sort by color is not in use here, but it is the way to get to custom sort. So we're currently sorting, by the SIC description or the category based on the values and in the order from A to Z. I'm going to add a level. I'm going to say then by company name, cell values A to Z, and click OK. And now all the restaurants are together and they go from Anyways up to Tracy's. So short of creating a pivot table, which is something we'll cover in a later quick tip, the table is an extremely useful way of looking at a large chunk of data and changing it to fit your needs. Consider using it. I think you'll find it helps. Thanks for watching and have a great day.